parents had three boys. I was the middle child, and it was always good. I always felt loved and protected. Unfortunately, at a very early age, I was 6, and my father was 37, and he died. He had an appendix that burst, and this was 1957. So they didn't have the antibiotics they have today, and so that infection just spread throughout his abdominal cavity. And so it was very tragic. It was, I refer to it as the time when I lost my innocence, because my entire world was just turned upside down. And but we were the three boys. My older brother took care of us while our mother worked, and we were all very close. My grandparents on my father's side, Grandma and Grandpa Stenson, were Irish immigrants. They came over in the early 1900s, but they came over separately. They didn't know each other. They met in New York City when they got here. Especially in an Irish Catholic family, it was a secret. You had to keep these things as secrets. And I had heard horror stories of people coming out to their parents and then being thrown out of the house at early ages. And I certainly I looked at my father as my rock. My older brother was another rock, and I couldn't afford to lose their love and support. But the whole thing with being a little Catholic boy, and even though I wasn't out, I mean, I could feel that I was different, And so it wasn't until, my mid to late 20s that I finally accepted that I was gay. I've loved 3 men in my adult life. Dan, who I moved out here for. And you couldn't get legally married back in the 1970s. Actually, that didn't happen until 2015. So what we had in the gay community, there is a Protestant denomination, Metropolitan Community Church, and they had put together what they called a Holy Union ceremony. It was a wedding, but we just weren't legally married. So we had this Holy Union ceremony. And life with Dan was, we were together 29 years, and then he passed away from heart disease. We were both young men. We had our issues. We would have disagreements, and I'm not speaking to you, and then we'd make up, and but it was a good life. I felt blessed that there was someone in my life that I loved, and someone that I knew would be there for me. After he died, my second partner, Mark, we were together for 5 years, and I always knew he had issues, emotional issues, that he was seeing psychologists and psychiatrists for. He was getting the help that he needed. Apparently it was not enough, but life with him was a joy. His parents lived in Muskegon on the other side of the state. They owned like a mini yacht. His father was an eye surgeon, so he was fairly wealthy. And we would go visit them. They would take the yacht out on the Lake Michigan, go up and down the different ports in the summer. We'd go and visit for weekends, and it was just a lot of fun. They had a place in Florida that they'd invite us down to, and and then unfortunately, life was so painful for him, and he hid it very well. And a year later was 2014, and I met Tom. And I had just gotten to the point where I wanted to put myself out there again. I never really dated people. I would find someone, fall in love. Okay, now we're kind of like as married as we can be. That was with Dan and with Mark. And so I just wanted to meet people and make friends. And, I was in my early 60s, and I wasn't expecting to meet a lifelong partner or anything. So Tom and I both belonged to a website, Seniors Meeting Seniors.
And old people meet old people. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's called Seniors Meet Seniors.
Then I met Tom, and I thought, oh, this would be nice. You know, we'll get together and we can go out to dinner. He's got a nice dog.
Yeah, I brought my dog to the first date.
That's first date. And then I guess it just happened quickly, and that's the way it happened with my other partners. It I started falling in love with him, and so by April he moved in with me, and then in June, I think it was, the Supreme Court came out with its decision that same-sex marriage was the law of the land. And, we jumped at that, and we were married in August. My favorite part of the day is in the evening after dinner, just sitting down and watching TV with him. And the dog is there, and any time of year, that's just my favorite part of the day. It's a very simple thing. But it's you get to take a nice deep breath and relax from whatever has been going on that day. It's just who I am. It's not something I've chosen. I did come across that early on. Well, you chose this. I said, who would choose a lifestyle where half the country hates you, and where you'd be considered a criminal in some states? Who would choose that? You'd have to be crazy. So if you're in a community that excludes people, that's not from God, and that has nothing to do with God. So find another community